Board Member Hemmings, can you hear us okay? Can you unmute?
Yes,
Hi.
I can.
Much better.
Okay, well, we did a little IT, so fingers crossed, everyone. Sorry about that. Back to you, President Chin.
Oh, we're back in business, and thank you, Rachel, for doing the plugging in plugins. So we're ready for motions, people. We've had the discussion, and we'll start with, is there a motion to move to convene a one-day strategic planning meeting to be held in person on November 5th, 2025? Somebody jump in. Say verbally.
Emotion.
Thank you. Is that second?
Seconded. Board
Thank you.
member Joyce.
I'm sorry, who was the original
Sorry,
motion?
board member Pinero.
Thank you.
Seconded board member Joyce.
Thank you. And yes, we have to put their names. Board President Chin is yes. Board Vice President Joyce.
Yes.
Member Beeman, yes. Member Hall, yes. Board Member Kirkbride? Board Member Kirkbride, yes. Board Member Kroger? Board Member Kroger, yes. Member Patel? Board Member Patel, yes. Member Pinedo? Board Member Pinedo, yes. And Board Member Hemmons?
Board Member Hemmings, yes.
The motion passes unanimously. And then is there a motion to move to convene a two-day strategic planning meeting to be held in person on November 4th and 5th, 2026?
So moved, Vice President Joyce.
And Board Member Hall. And Board President Chin, yes. Board President, Vice President Joyce.
Yes.
Board Member Beeman.
Yes.
Board Member Hall.
Yes.
Board Member Kirkbride.
Yes.
Board Member Kroger.
Yes.
Board Member Patel. Yes. Board Member Pinedo.
Yes.
Board Member Hemmons.
Yes.
Board motion passes unanimously. And is there a motion to move to convene a one-day strategic planning meeting to be held in person on November 3rd, 2027?
So moved, Board Member Kroger. Second, Board Member Pinedo.
Board President Chin, yes. Board Vice President Joyce.
Yes.
Board Member Beeman.
Yes.
Board Member Hall.
Yes.
Board Member Kirkbride.
Yes.
Board Member Kroger.
Yes.
Member Patel.
Patel, yes.
Board Member Pinedo. Yes. Board Member Hemmons.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We will now move to discuss convening three-day board meetings in 2025. We had changed it to two-day board meetings at our August meeting, and it's come to our attention that we have a lot more content than we could get done, with staffing, starting to improve, and a lot of, work that, staff has been doing on rules. Trying to do all of that in 2 days is nigh to impossible right now. So, I have something to say. So due to the number of complaints getting quantity proposed draft rules to review, like compounding, board ranking lists, potential new rules for 2025 legislative session, which there will be, and additional board business agenda items, it's necessary to have a three-day board meetings at least through the end of 2025. The board like to reevaluate the need of a future three-day board meeting annually and potentially during board business meeting each June. So, we can start the discussion with member Beeman is first.
Board Member Beeman. Good historically, there were always 2 meetings a year with carve outs for the optional 3 days, and up until we fell behind from having to go virtual. It was kind of as we grew closer to those meetings, whether we would do 2 or 3 days. So again, having it, the option there, you can always cut back, but it's hard to add in more. It usually resulted in more emergency meetings and more meeting dates off of what you kind of plan for in your calendar for the board meeting dates every other month. So I think it is worthwhile, having those options for the two, I think it was like February and August, if I'm not mistaken, that we had the option for 3 days, maybe it was, I don't remember, but there was 2 times a year that we could do 3 day meetings if the work was needed, and oftentimes we cut back to 2 if it wasn't. So having the space there is helpful, and especially if you can plan that far ahead.
Thank you, Board Member Pineda.
Board Member Pinedo. I feel that we need to do however many days that we need to do to make sure that we are caught up with our cases or what is presented to us, because I don't think that it's fair to licensees that we are so far behind on cases and things to getting things out to them.
So we always get the cases done, but that would run into, we don't get any other board business done if we do a 2-day meeting.
So 3 days.
Member Joyce, yeah, definitely support 3-day meetings. Sounds like, pretty sound logic on why, we should and we should.
Okay, Board Member Chin, support 3-day meetings. And then I think a review. I think it's gonna be too early to do it in June. I suggest maybe on the strategic planning day that be an annual one thing besides, I think that's part of the strategic plan is, do we need 2 or 3-day board meetings going into the next year? That would be my suggestion. Board Member Hall.
River Hall. I would prefer 2 day. If the work needs to be done and we're, not able to do it in 2, then I guess we have to do 3. I would wanna look at that annually. And maybe Friday is early release.
Member Patel.
So, point of clarification. So in August, we are talking about go from 3 days to 2 days because of the budget constraint. Now we are discussing go back from 2 days to 3 days. Did I understand right?
You understand correctly?
This is staff member Melvin. This was just for the year of 2025, though, with how we notice the agenda. So we're not talking about the rest of the biennium. Sorry, just saying.
We had long discussion about this, going from 3 to 2. Now we have discussion 2 to 3. Okay. All right, I prefer 2 days. But if it's needed, I would say 2.5 and leave on early on Friday, because I don't think so. By the time like third day, my brain is kind of get exhausted. And then I have to drive back again, like on Saturday. So I would say 2 days, that's the preferred. And if it's needed, then 2.5 days, leave by 1 o'clock on Friday.
Member Kirkbride.
I support 3-day meetings. I'm a little confused on are we talking starting in August 2025 or all of the year 2025 is what I heard?
All of the year 20.
I do support 3-day meetings. I think that the speed with which we are clearing compliance cases and finishing rulemaking is not serving our licensees. And I think we volunteered and were appointed to this board to do the business of the Board of Pharmacy. And if the work is there, staffing is improving, and we have cases to hear and work to do, that we should be here to do that work. So 3 days, yes. The one thing I would say is if we do have to cut it back to 2 days because we don't have the work, to make sure to clearly notify us why that's happening, not just canceling the day, but making sure that's clear that we're going to a 2-day because of this reason. But as a general rule, blocking them out as 3 days, I support.
Thank you, Board Member Hemmons.
I didn't understand, I still don't understand how we went from 3 days to 2 days. And if we were able to do that, why couldn't we do that consistently. But I'm also noticing that we have ended up having additional meetings. Um, you know, so although I'm kind of with Board Member Patel on this, I prefer 2 days. However, I'm not sure that, I don't know what kind of restructuring needs to be done to make it to be 2 days, but I run a group practice. I see patients. I need to know what I'm doing. When I committed to this board, I did commit to 3 days per, every other month. That's how I've planned out, this board is not my life. Therefore, I'm okay with the 3 days if it's consistent, but this back and forth is challenging to navigate, and these ad hoc meetings that pop up or get canceled is very frustrating. So I would just say whatever you decide, we need to stick with that. And as a previous board member said, if there's changes, that we're notified early as possible with an explanation. I am fine with a commitment of 3 days. 2.5 is great. 2 is fine if we're sure that we can actually get everything that needs to be done in those 2 days.
Thank you. Board Member Kroger?
Member Kroger, I am in support of 3-day meetings, especially if we are able to review more compliance cases, and get through those because of the concerns I personally have with the length it's taking for us to make decisions on compliance cases. As far as the timing to have discussions on rulemaking, I think that's more of a planning piece with the board staff and President Chin and what those agendas look like. But generally, if we're able to see more and review more compliance cases, that would be the reason I would be supportive of a 3-day meeting. Otherwise, I think 2 is fine.
Noted. And so I think that for the majority of people were okay, three days when we have the need for that business. So. And then with sufficient notice of if it was changed to 2 days and why, and far enough in advance that people could adjust their schedules to work and do the work that they do outside of the board. So is there a motion to move to convene 3-day board meetings in December 2024, which we already are set for, as well as February, April, June, August, October, and December of 2025? And then I would add as a, whatever you call it when you addend it, I would like to review each November at strategic plan the number of days for board meetings for the future year. Board Member Patel.
Member Patel, just to clarify, so in December 2024, it's going to be 2 days meeting, right?
No, ma'am, we're set for 3 days in November. No, we're set for 2.
We're asking for 3, excuse me, Staff Member Melvin, we're asking for 3.
We need 3 in December.
We need 3. Due to the amount of cases, that's a day and a half, and the amount of all of the other items that need to come forth. It is a 3-day or.
My bad, I'm sorry. So we absolutely need 3 days in December.
Right, this is Board Member Patel. That's what is frustrating for me, just like Board Member Hemming said, because you remember we have 3 days, and then August we decided 2 days. Now we are going to do 3 days.
This is Board Member Chin. It was put to us less as a choice and more of what we understood as there is no budget to do that. And a reconsideration of where the budget is and where the work is. We really needed to go back to what we have been doing for a long time. And there is budget to do these 3-day meetings to get the work done.
this is board member Patel. So we didn't have budget in August, now we have budget for 3 days. All right, got it. But the thing is like, you know, this is volunteer position, I understand, but then we also have another commitments to our patients too. Now we go from 2 days to 3 days. What about my commitment to my patients? Because we plan ahead of time. Like, it's not like I'm going to see patient tomorrow just because I have some extra time. That's not how it works, because those patients are also arranging their schedule too. So that's fine. My answer will be no.
Board Member Kirkbride? Okay, so we can, does anybody else have any other comments before we go into making motion? Yes, Board Member Hall.
Member Hall, I would say no for December 2024.
Board Member Beaman.
I think after being told in August that this was what's happening, and now we're within a month of the 2024 meeting, I think that it was made clear that we didn't have a choice as of August 24. So I think changing it back to 3 days now would be really hard for everybody's schedule.
President Chin, can we divide the question? Because I think
I
we're,
think it sounds
we need
like
to consider these two things separately. We had positive discussion about year 2025. Let's get that off the board and then let's discuss December 2020.
we can definitely do that. I am concerned that if we don't do 3 day, what we're gonna get done in December, but the will of the board. So let's start with December because that's the first one on here, and then we'll make a motion for 2025. So is there a motion to move to convene a 3 day board meeting in December of 2024, given the amount of work with compliance and rules that are coming to us in December?
Board Member Kirkbride, so moved.
Seconded, Board Member Joyce.
President Chin, yes. Board Vice President Joyce,
Yes.
Board Member Beaman,
No.
Board Member Hall, Member Kirkbride,
Yes.
Board Member Kroger,
No.
Member Patel,
No.
Board Member Pinedo,
No.
Board Member Hemmons.
No.
Okay, motion fails with 3 board members, or yes, and everybody else opposed. So, it looks like we are doing a 2 day board meeting in December, staff. Then is there a motion to move to convene 3 day board meetings in February, April, June, August, October, and December of 2025?
Board Member Kirkbride, so moved.
Seconded, Board President Joyce.
Board President Chin, yes. Board Vice President Joyce.
Yes.
Board Member Beaman.
Yes.
Board Member Hall.
Yes.
Board Member Kirkbride.
Yes.
Board Member Kroger.
Yes.
Board Member Patel.
Board member Patel, yes.
Board Member Pinedo.
Board Member Pinedo, yes.
Board Member Hemmons.
Board Member Hemmons, so this is for 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Motion unanimously passes. And now we will discuss the position statement related to access to certain parenteral drug products, including IV solutions. The board will come back to this discussion later in the meeting to vote. We will begin with staff member Effermont, please.
Morning, staff member Effermont. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be back. So on October 11th, 2024, the FDA issued the guidance temporary policies for compounding certain parental drug products for immediate implementation to mitigate the drug shortages resulting from the impact of Hurricane Helene and Milton. The FDA guidance affects both federally registered outsourcing facilities and state licensed pharmacies registered with the board and is in effect for only the duration of the supply disruption as directed by the FDA. Due to the urgent nature of this matter, staff coordinated with legal counsel and the board president to issue a position statement that is on our website. And it is pulled up here as you can see. The position statement's goal is to communicate with licensees the board's expectations and to encourage licensees and registrants to implement strategies to ensure adequate supplies of parental drug products. In order for pharmacies to be in compliance with the FDA guidance, pharmacies must notify their state authority, the Board of Pharmacy, that they are providing drug product to a hospital or health system without first obtaining a patient-specific prescription. Then the state must inform the pharmacy that they do not object. This position statement issued by the board directs licensees and registrants to notify the board via fillable form and communicate upon receipt of this form. The board does not object to licensed pharmacies in good standing providing drug product on the FDA list to a hospital or health system as directed within the FDA guidance of temporary policies for compounding certain parental drug products. So by filling out the form, there is the notification that if you do it through this format, that the board does not object to an individual licensee or registrant in performing that. So the position statement further also states that if a licensee or registrant is in violation of board statutes or rules in relation to the FDA guidance, the board will not take disciplinary action against board licensees or registrants if they are acting in accordance with the FDA temporary policies for compounding certain parental drug products up until January 8th, 2025, unless otherwise extended by the board. Staff will continue to monitor this need and will reevaluate if this date needs to be extended in the future and would bring that back for the board's discussion. Does the board have any questions?
Board Member Kirkbride, I like the idea of upon receipt of the form. Does the person submitting the form get something back that says their form was received, like an auto response?
Staff member Akramov? Yes, that's exactly what happens.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, I have a comment. So, what caught my eye was the last sentence. So this was already posted. This directive or whatever it's called was already posted without board approval, without a vote from the board. Is that correct? The board president and board staff and the executive director made a decision to move forward with putting this directive out into
This is
the pharmacy world, but there was no, I'm just trying to understand what happened, but there was no actual board vote because we didn't meet, correct?
So this is a different way of doing an emergency order. The FDA directed the board to allow this practice as an emergency because of shortages nationally affecting patient safety and patient health. And the board staff, board council, drew up a position statement to that effect. And with my knowledge and permission and the need to be done immediately, because this needed to happen immediately, we did bring it to the board so that we could formalize discussion and the vote.
And this is,
Okay, yeah, so you're repeating just what I said. So my question then is, why are we now voting on it if it has already been put out? I mean, wouldn't you then need to wouldn't you then need to, what's the word I'm looking for? Repeal it
We're just
and then
ratifying.
you're just ratifying.
Rosemary,
So is this a
Rosemary,
practice? Is this a
Angie.
normal
Can you hear me?
practice?
Rosemary, can you hear me? This is Angie.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry. So there is some delegated authority that allows for this sort of process to kind of happen. But the hope, right, is that, I mean, we want the board to have say. So if you guys came today and you're like, no, we don't like this, yes, we can repeal it and start over. So the goal today, right, is to bring this, so it's up front, it's out there, but this is, if the board doesn't agree, they can say, we do not want to ratify this and we will start over.
okay, so that, you're answering my question, which is there, um, authority that is standard for situations like this, which was followed?
There's
And
delegated
you're telling
authority.
me that because there's delegated authority, that is a standard practice, and therefore there was no violations in terms of how this decision was made, correct?
I mean, generally, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So the motion is to ratify what has already been posted as emergency information to licensees to protect the public. So any other discussion? Okay, is there a motion to move to ratify the October 2024 position statement on access to certain parenteral drug products, including IV solutions as proposed?
So moved, Vice President Joyce.
Second, board member Pineda?
Member Chin, yes. Board member Joyce, board member Beeman.
Yes.
Board member Hall,
Yes.
board member Kirkbride,
Yes.
board member Kroger,
Yes.
board member Padell,
Yes.
board member Pinedo,
Yes.
board member Hemmons.
Yes.
Heard, motion passes unanimously. And then, now we're going to be going into executive session. Prior to going into executive session, board members must announce if they are recusing themselves from compliance cases. Please state the case number and the reason for the recusal, such as bias, direct financial, potential financial, or witness in a case. Board President Chin, no recusal. Vice President Joyce.
Recusal.
Board member Beeman.
No recusals.
Board member Hall.
No recusals.
Board member Hemmons.
Why are we doing this? I thought we're actually having a regular board meeting. I thought this was, are
It
we
was on
discussing
the,
cases today?
it was on the agenda and it was on the mailings, it was on the information sent to us. Yes.
Is
So
it
this
just that
is-
one
this is-
case that we're referring to?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
No recusals.
Member Kirkbride,
No recusals.
board member Kroger,
No recusals.
board member Patel, member Pinedo,
No recusal.
thank you. The time is now 10:09 a.m. This executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192.640 and ORS 192.660, para 1, 2, AFL, ORS 192.690, parent 1, ORS 676.165, and ORS 676.175, which allows the board to meet in executive session to consider employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent, and written legal advice, and to consider information or records that are exempt from law from public inspection. Representatives of the media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. Representatives of the media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the public back into the meeting. Is there a motion to move to enter executive session for the purpose of legal advice, review and discussion of the investigation and disciplinary case for the purpose of reviewing an exempt public record of legal advice relating to the executive director recruitment at 10 a.m.
Move board member Beeman.
Seconded board member Kroger.
Thank you. Board member Chin, yes. Board member Joyce. Board member Beeman.
Yes.
Board member Hall.
Yes.
Board member Kirkbride.
Yes.
Board member Kroger.
Yes.
Board member Patel.
Yes.
Board member Pinedo.
Yes.
Board member Hemmons.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. And we will wait for staff to transition from open to executive session.